Hello everyone, in this video I'd like to talk about when we are using Beckhoff PLC, how can we implement the Modbus TCP client function, basically the Modbus TCP master, the active side function by using Beckhoff TF6250. The Modbus TCP client function is a very common function when we are doing the PLC communicate with multiple other devices. For example, some meters, some devices, basically all those meter devices could be run as Modbus TCP server side, the slave side. Then when the PLC try to write the parameter or read the values from those meters, then the PLC will run the Modbus TCP client role. Okay, and in this video, I will use two PC run this test. I will program in this PC, and this PC will run as TwinCAT 3 Modbus TCP client. And in the other PC, it will run the Modbus TCP server, the slave side. And I will use this free demo software, ModbusTCP software. It's very common free demo software. We can use this software running as a server side, and we can do this Modbus TCP test. Before we talk about this topic, let's quickly review the playlist talking about the communication and the Beckhoff topics in my playlist. If we go to the playlist, then we can go to the Beckhoff TwinCAT controls. And then let's click this TwinCAT control playlist. Okay, this Beckhoff TwinCAT control playlist almost include 100 videos. For the communication area, if we scroll down and go into the COM10 to 34, this area, as we can see, I launched a couple videos before talking about Beckhoff PLC, how can we do the Ethernet IP, PerfectNet, OPC UA, TCP IP communications by using Beckhoff TwinCAT 3 PLC. And each communication, you need specific packages. Okay? And then I realized, okay, I missed the Modbus TCP topics. That's why I plan to use two videos talking about Modbus TCP client and the Modbus TCP server function by using Beckhoff TwinCAT 3. And to check out this Beckhoff TwinCAT 3 Modbus TCP function, I would recommend you search Beckhoff Modbus TF6250. And then you can find this page, TF6250. Okay? Then you jump to this page. So firstly, to implement the TwinCAT 3 Modbus TCP function, you need to download a small package software to your target Beckhoff PLC PC. Okay, so if we go to the documents and the download, and you will see the software and the tools. From here, you need to download this software and the tools. Again, you need to download this software and install this software into your target Beckhoff PLC. If your PLC is running as a PC, okay, which is fine, you can download and install directly. And in the meantime, you also need the license for this. If your target PLC system is running ARM or x86 platform, so you also need to install the correlated software. Other than the software, another important thing is the menu, and click this technical documentations. And here, this TF62 Modbus TCP menu, English version or German version. Okay, so you can download this menu. Once you install, once you use the reference import the library, you will find all the library inside this package. They all talking about the Modbus client function. For example, like this, the Modbus function 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Typically, if you are using the register read and write, like this video I will show, it is read registers and write registers, Modbus function 03 and 16. So those are the Modbus function code. Okay, they are quite common used. So this is the Modbus TCP client function. Then maybe people will ask, if the Beckhoff PLC will run the Modbus TCP server role, what it should do, which kind of function it will call. Okay, this is the tips. Not the same with other brands like Siemens or Allen Bradley when they are doing the Modbus TCP server has to call the function block to implement the server role. But in Beckhoff TF6250, once you install this software, your PLC, your target PC has run the server role already. The only challenge or the only things you need to figure out is the mapping. It's a mapping problem. Like this sentence explained, in the server mode, the memory area of several TwinCAT runtime systems can be mapped directly to the Modbus memory areas. So that means the server, it doesn't need any program. The only thing you need to figure out is the memory mapping. Okay? Next video we will explain this. But this video we will focus on the Modbus TCP client function. So to implement the Modbus TCP client function, you need to figure out your target area, which kind of Modbus function you need to use. So this depends on your target, your server side, which Modbus function you need to exchange the data with your server side. Like this case, I will use the function 0316 as an example. These are very common used Modbus functions. Alright, let's start. So let's firstly download the software tools and let's download the TF62 package in my target PC. My target PC is at the left side. It's a 1.99 IP address. And inside your target PC, let's run as administrator to install this package. Okay, right click, click the run as administrator. After the installation, let's go to this directory. As I introduced, if your target PLC, you are using x86 or ARM platform, so you need to copy these two folders into your target PLC and run this CAB installation file into your target PLC. Okay, in this case, I'm using the PC as my Beckhoff PLC, so it doesn't matter. I can directly install here. And the software showing here, this configuration, this is for the Modbus TCP server. Okay. After the installation, let's reboot to your system. Don't forget. Then let's create one project. Run as administrator. Then let's create one project, new project. I will create my project named TwinCAT Modbus TCP client. Okay. And click OK. Then under the PLC, I will add a new item. Add a PLC project. So I will name that Modbus client TF6250. Okay. So again, currently I'm working on the computer A, and this computer will run as the Beckhoff Modbus TCP client. Okay. Alright, this is the PLC project. And then let's go to the main. And under the global variable list, I will create a global variable. And we can name that GVL. Okay. Then I will create my global tag at here. And under the main, I will create the subprogram. So from here, I will name that method, for example. So the method, I can name that Modbus TCP client. Okay. After we install the TF6250, then from the reference, we will add the library. That library, if we search Modbus, then you will find you have a TC2 Modbus RTU and the TC2 Modbus server. So actually this one is a Modbus TCP. So let's add it. Okay, after we add this reference, so if we double click, go to the POU, and we can see typically when the Beckhoff PLC running as Modbus TCP client, as a client, we can active to trigger read and write. And typically for the Modbus communication, we can read and write for the coil, the single coil, or the single register, or most common way is reading the register or write the registers. So we can write a couple of registers together. So you can see the total length of the register one time it can trigger to write or read. It can do 128 registers. So the registers reading and writing are most common way. So that's why in this video, I will take this read register and write registers as an example. Okay, then we can go to the GVL here. So let's create the instant DB for the FB. Okay, from here, I can input assistant. And let's call that, as we can see, this is the FB Modbus, right? And we will firstly create the instant DB of the Modbus read registers. Click OK. Okay, and from here, we will create, say, FB Modbus TCP client read registers. Okay, and then I will call the instant DB of B underscore MB the write registers. Okay, write registers. Write registers. Okay, and the detailed introduction, they are here. Okay, the write registers. And the instant DB, we can call that FB Modbus TCP client write registers. Okay, so from here, I can also write some comments, much easier. And this one is a holding register write. Let's firstly call this instant DB. Okay, let's go to my method. And here, let's call the instant DB. Then let's select the instant calls. And then, so first area, we will write the read registers program. Okay, select OK. Then we will see this is the call, the FB, and this is the instant DB. Okay, and we can see for reading, and this read need those parameters. And then let's go to call the write input assistant instance calls and select this write. So let's go one by one. Some area we just need some static parameters. So for instance, here the IP address, this is the target, the Modbus TCP server IP address. This is this client target IP address. So in this case, our target computer, the Modbus TCP server, the IP address is, okay, don't forget, we need to put a string here. So this is a string. Okay, this is string here. Okay, 192.168.1.252. Okay, this is our target. And the port for Modbus TCP, so the port commonly we will use 502. Okay, actually you are free to set anything. To check the data type of this parameter, so we can go to the Modbus server and we can have a quick look. So for the read register here, so we can see this port is an integer, and then the next one is a unit ID. This is the Modbus TCP server side, a unit ID number. So typically running as a server, you need a unit ID number. So this is the byte number. And then two important parameters after that will be the quantity and the Modbus address. This is the start register. Based on this start register, how many registers we need to write or read. This parameter are controlling this. Okay, once we can read couple of registers start from this address and then this is length, then where we can store all those data into the PLC address. So this is a place. So these two parameters are used for store the target PLC address. Okay, then the rest of them, they are quite clear. So register, this execute, this is the command using the raising edge. Every time we have the raising edge, it will execute this command. Then timeout, busy, error, and error ID are the feedback. So in case we have something wrong, we can use the error and error ID. So in the manual, the TF6250 it has a couple of pages showing the error and the error ID, which is very useful. Okay, then back to our program here. So again, this TCP IP port, it is unsigned integer. So we will directly write the integer here, 502. Okay, I will write the IP address also for this. Read and write our target and the port, they are the same. Okay, and then the unit ID, we will assume our server, this is the 1. In the real case, this unit ID totally depends on your target Modbus TCP server unit ID. And when I'm using the software running as Modbus TCP server, I will specially point, so the ID number I will set to the server side, the number 1. Okay, the ID number 1. Then from here, we need the quantity Modbus start address and this length and the destination address. Same thing for the write. So we need all those parameters. Then let's go back to the global variable list. We need to declare some important variables. I will declare read registers. Okay. This is the bool. And then take care. So those parameters, they are words. Okay, they are word. And from here, I can declare an initial value for this quantity read register. For example, the numbers of the registers we can read, we can do 4. Okay, the length is 4. The length is 4. Then the start address, read. This is the Modbus variable start address. So the start address we can set, for example, the 20. Okay, start address start from the 20. Then we will declare the variables for the PLC variables that can store the read back the Modbus TCP data. Okay, so here we will declare the array. So considering here we are reading the 4 registers, so I will declare 1 to 4. Okay, of word. Okay, then we will try to read the arrow and the arrow code. So declare read arrow and the arrow code. Okay, and read arrow. Then we'll declare the same thing for this write register. So again, we will copy this area and change the read to write. Read address. So this is start address. Start register number address. Okay, start register address. So for the write, the numbers of the register we can set 4. Okay, but the start address we can set, for example, we can start from the 1. Okay. Okay, so that means from the Modbus address 1, 2, 3, 4, the top 4 we are using to write the register. To read the Modbus TCP data, we will read start from the Modbus address from the 20 and the length is 4. So this is our target here. Okay. All right. So we create all those variables. Then let's program all those variables to here. So here the quantity for read GVL dot and Modbus start address GVL dot Modbus start address read address, and then the length. So length here we will program this way. We will do the size of the variable, the array variable. So read data register. Okay. And destination address. So is this target. Based on this variable, we will do the address. So ADR. So ADR. Okay, and the execute command GVL dot the read command Okay, the read command, read registers. Okay, and then the arrow and the arrow ID, GVL dot arrow. So read arrow, GVL dot the arrow ID, read arrow ID. Okay, this is the holding register read. And then let's program the write. Write area will be the similar idea. So quantity, write quantity registers. So Modbus start address, GVL, write Modbus address registers. Okay, and then the length, size of GVL dot. So this is the write data register. The source address of the PLC address, ADR. Okay, and then the execute, we will use the write register, this execute command. Okay, and then the arrow. So we finished the programming for this register read and the register write. And our target is IP address 1.252. From this Beckhoff target PLC, I will pin the target Modbus TCP server 252. Okay, it's communicating. Then from my target PC, okay, so my target PC, this is the P53 PC, it is Modbus TCP server. From the server side, I will pin the target. This is the client Beckhoff PLC Modbus TCP client IP address. This IP address is 192.168.1.199.199. Okay, I'm missing the pin. Okay, let's pin. They can pin each other. That means the cable and the firewall, okay, they are communicating. You need to open the 502, this port, because we are using this 502, this port, for the Modbus TCP data communication. Okay, take care to open this port for the firewall. The easier way for the testing purpose, you can turn off the firewall, Windows firewall, and for the testing. Okay, so keep in mind the firewall issue and the port issue. Okay, now we program this. Then I'm going to download the PLC. Before we download, keep in mind we need to check the license. Okay, currently this is the PLC license, then manager license. Let's go to the TF6250, the Modbus TCP license. Check this PLC license. And we will use the 7 days trial license. In your runtime purpose, you need to purchase this license. Okay, so ICN2W. Okay, active this trial license, and let's switch back. All right, so we active this trial license, and then I will also check the real time. Okay, I will use this computer, one of the core running as the PLC core. So I will firstly try to read the target. Okay, in my computer, I have 4 courses, and from here I can set the target. So I will use this core, this isolated core for this PLC, and I can click this set. You can adjust the core, how many isolated core and how many share. Share means the Windows will be use this course. And this is the Beckhoff PLC courses. Okay, I'll click the set. All right, after this, basically we are ready to download. Okay, again, we import this Modbus SRV, this library into this reference. And the global variable list, we call this FB, read and write registers. And then from the main, under the main, we program this M_Modbus TCP client. And from the main, we will call this M, right? Okay, we will call this Modbus TCP client. All right, so let's download. Active configuration. Okay. Okay, turn to the runtime. This TwinCAT system is started, and now I will log in the PLC program. So basically, we will download the program into this PC and using this PC as my PLC. So this PLC now is running this Modbus TCP client program now. And once I jump to here, as we can see, so it is running. And meantime, if I open this variable list here, this is the read and the write, and this is the variables area. Now we will start the server side. So from the server side, I'm using the other computer, and in the other computer, all right, from the right side, this window, this is the other computer. It is running. It will run the Modbus TCP client. And to run the Modbus TCP client, I will use this demo software from this WinTech, okay, which is very widely used, okay. And I will download this software, Modbus CM64, Modbus slave. Keep in mind, when this Modbus TCP is running as a server, the server will run as a slave. It's waiting for the client, waiting for the active side to fetch the data, write or read. Basically, server side do not need to do anything. It just provide the data. That's why typically the meters, sensors, or some devices or equipment, they will run as Modbus TCP server, waiting for PLC to write the data or read the data. So PLC basically will run as Modbus TCP client, the master side. Okay, so again, we will use the Modbus slave running as a server role. Okay, let's download, unzip this folder, and we will use this software, Modbus Sim. Okay, the slave side, slave software, server, and let's open it. And since we are using this software as a demo, so we do not need to type anything. So just click, waiting for a couple of seconds, then let's click this OK. Okay, wait for a couple of seconds. All right, so we can click OK. Then I will create a new, okay? And again, so let's set it up, this server, Modbus TCP server. So firstly, the device ID. Device ID as the client side, we set 1. So we will assume this server will run the ID number 1, okay? So we set 1. And we will run the holding register read and write. That's why we select the holding registers instead of the coil. Coil, most of cases, we will use the single coil read and write. So the holding register are most common way to communicate, exchange the data by using the Modbus. All right, so 03. Then the most important thing, actually, we should set, connect, select this Modbus TCP server, select this, and set the port. Okay, 502 is a common port for Modbus TCP. So here, from the client side, its target port is 502. So here we will also set 502. Okay, click OK. Okay, allow. Don't forget this. All right, now we can set the start address and the length. So here, actually the server, right? Server is a storage. So we can prepare, for example, we can prepare the Modbus address start from the 1, and the length we will prepare 100. So this is kind of like a storage, right? And it's waiting for the client side write or read the data. So let's firstly test this read. The quantity here, the quantity, it is number of the register. The length is 4. The start address is 20. So back to the server side. If we start from the 20 here, it might be not exactly 20. We can try. So 20 here, let's double click this 20 area, and this value we can prepare 1111. Okay, and 21 we can prepare 2222. Okay, so we prepare 5 data here, and then from the client side, let's trigger this execute. Double click this read register, and let's write this value, rising age. Then let's turn this off. And after this trigger, okay, then let's open this array read data register area. Okay, let's open this. We will see the length of 4 is reading 4 register, is reading 4 data from the register. And here we can see the start address is reading from here, the 21. As we can see, the data is reading from the 21, 22, 23, 24. This start address will read to 20. Sometimes you will see your client and the server side, when we talk about the start address, they would have the one address offside. I would recommend you can do a firstly try and try to see when you set 20, if it start from the 20 or 21. This is the write. Then we can try the write. Okay, I will restart because my demo time expired. Okay, I will create a new server. Let's set this again. So the device ID is 1, holding register. Okay, the length we can set 100. And the connect, we are using the Modbus TCP. Then we can test the write. Okay, the write for this write register. So we will prepare some data. So we can prepare AA, and we can switch to hex mode. Okay, AA, BB, AA, BB, CC, DD. Yep, we can prepare 4 data here, and then we can trigger this write. Trigger this write command. Okay, let's trigger this write. Okay, turn this off, and then turn this off. And after this, let's watch here, and we can see again the start address we set 1, but from the server side it actually start from this 2 here, so it has 1 address off, and the value is showing here is 170. So what's going on? No worries, it's just because of software. So we can adjust this address display to hex, so we can see AA, BB, CC, DD. They are writing correctly from the client to the server. Again, we can trigger the read. So it start from the, so here, if I switch to the decimal, it start from the 20. From the server side, it is 21. Let's write the data, a new data again. New data 1122. Okay. 3344. Okay, and we can trigger this read. All right, so after this read, we can see this value read here. Then if we switch to the hex mode, 1122.3344, so it read successfully. Okay, this read and write, they all working properly. And in case you have something wrong, you can see this error feedback and the error ID. Again, to check out the error ID, you can download this TF6250, this menu, and basically at the end of this menu, if we go to this contents, at the end of this menu, this appendix here is showing the error codes. Okay, so we will see this is error codes. You can check out the error codes to troubleshoot your systems. Okay, actually the method, they are very simple, but again, we are using the register, holding register, the function. So that's why I'm using, if we go here, go to the global variable list, if I turn off this logout. Okay, we are using the Modbus read register and write register. So if we go to this TC2 Modbus SRV here, as we can see, so it actually has a couple of function blocks here. What I'm using it is this read and write register. If in case your object, you have to operate the coils, so you can call this, but the methods, they are quite similar. All right, so this is the Modbus TCP client method. So again, I like to show this global variable and a program here. This is the key variables we need to declare, and from this area, this is the typical program. Okay, and again, the testing tool, you can download this software, the Modbus Sim 62. Don't forget, this is the server, and slave this role. And here you can set the parameter and you can test your system. Don't forget to test the Modbus TCP. So you better use 2 computers because they are using the TCP based on the Ethernet cable, right? So you better prepare 2 computers and also check out 2 computers firewall and also open the 502 this port for your Modbus TCP communication test. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumb up. If you like to watch more videos in my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you for watching.